All right, hard yarners, we are here with the world's most famous backpacker of all time, Trev Gleeson.
We the North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Toronto Raptors mastermind and 5-time championship winning coach from the Wildcats. What do we hit on, Trev?
You what?
I'll just get my translator.
What do we chat about throughout the episode?
Oh, everything from backpacking to getting fired a few times,
Yeah.
around the world, and a few laughs along the way too.
Yeah, awesome.
Nah, it's a really good story. There's a couple of interesting things. Even the back injury at the start is
very
really
compelling.
Very good. So listeners, you're going to love this one. So cheers for coming on and appreciate it.
Let's get hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host,
Daniel Delby.
And Cameron Brand.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
Sweet. All right, well, let's start off with the gun story from the CBA.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Oh, you start?
Yeah,
let's
we'll
do
start
it.
like that. No intro, mate. Everyone
We do intro on the
Well,
post.
I was a assistant coach in the CBA in America.
Yeah.
And these two guys were having a fight. Actually, were getting the flu shot for the start of the year, and one of the guys wasn't getting the flu shot. He said he had it before. The other guy kept egging him on, and we're in a little minibus to the doctor's surgery, and they're getting into it there, just verbal. And back into the surgery, they had to be separated, and I'm in there trying to calm everything down, and then I thought everything was fine, and they got back on the bus, and Leon was the last guy on the bus, and all of a sudden the guys chirped at him, and so he took his headphones off, put them down, and this guy's 6'10" and just put both hands around his neck and started choking him.
Jesus.
We're at the back there trying to get him off. The whole team's trying to separate. By that time, the other guy was Victor. Victor was in there. He's got him in a headlock. He's actually bit him. Just to try to get released, and we finally got them apart. And obviously, they're going verbal.
Yeah.
And one of the guys said, "I've got a gun and I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to kill you." And this, I'm just trying to coach basketball. Take these guys in for a flu shot. So we
Coming out with a gunshot.
Yeah, we had to separate them, and they were both staying at hotels.
Yeah.
And so we thought, well, we got to find out if he's got a gun or not. So we drove straight. By that time, we got Leon under control, and Victor's gone somewhere. We don't know where the hell he's gone.
Victor, the victim.
So we had to go to the hotel and get into the room. You know, we had to see the manager, and has he got a gun? So, you know, there's two of us gone into the hotel manager to get into his room to find out if he has a gun, and we've got other guys just standing at front.
And they're meant to be on the same team.
They're on the same team.
Oh my god.
It was.
Were you a fresh coach?
Mate, it was a big learning experience. Dealing with egos and. Yeah, 2 weeks later we traded him to different teams.
Trade him to Texas where he can use it.
Yeah,
Far
right.
out.
Wow, that's a good way to start the podcast. That's good.
Right. So
I guess
managing players, so it's more than just coaching on the field. You got to friggin' politics of flu shots and gunshots. That's intense.
It's different, totally different over there. Yeah, that was 20 odd years ago. So hopefully it's
and not many gun laws have changed since then.
Yeah, well, unfortunately not.
So that was obviously wasn't your first experience coaching. You'd already started coaching in Australia prior to that.
Yeah, that was this turn of 2000 when I went over to the States. I actually couldn't get a job here in Australia, so I went over to America and worked a couple of camps, and one camp led to another. Then I finished up getting the job over there.
Well, goddamn immigrants taking our goddamn jobs.
Is that where you met Dawn?
Arsies.
Is that where you met Dawn?
Yeah.
And she's the one who's got you in this mess today?
Yeah.
So thanks, Dawn, for that. I guess before we get into that, we should talk about your whole story, because it's quite an inspirational story. And Delby actually... he told me about it this morning, the back issue.
Yeah.
And for someone, and I was trying to look at your playing history,
Right.
and I couldn't find anything. And I found that quite strange for a coach as successful as yourself not to
Similar
have played
to
in.
Alistair Clarkson.
Yeah.
Did he play? Much
No, he played
footy?
at North.
Played a
He
little bit of
played,
footy.
yeah.
Yeah, he played at North.
So
eh?
who am I thinking of? There was an AFL player. Oh, the
Bolton?
little fella that
Bolton,
that went
Bolton
to
for
Carlton.
Carlton.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's even a tie in there with you later down the track. But
yeah.
I read, and I don't know how reliable the source is, that you began coaching because you sustained a really bad back injury from a hydraulic press.
Yeah, it
True?
was. Only when I was 18. I was pretty good at sport for basketball, football,
Yeah.
tennis. Anything with the ball and
Yeah.
didn't require schoolwork. I was great at it. And I worked at a meatworks, an abattoir in Warrnambool, country Victoria.
Yeah.
And went to work one day, and the hydraulic door goes up and down. It goes up, the animal rolls out. It's obviously been shot, rolls out, and then you put the chain on it. And this day, the door went up, and before I could get the animal, the door came down like a guillotine, and it was on my lower back. So I had two hands going to grab it, going to grab its necks, and just bang. It was
Wow, that sounds absolutely excruciating.
yeah, it was the most intense pain. It knocked me out.
Imagine
And
how the animals were feeling.
Oh.
Wow. So it's pushed down, and
Yep.
the hydraulic, obviously, there's no fail safe in it. It just
No,
comes down.
Well, that was the problem with it. Yeah.
Oh
so
my God.
it was.
So you're very lucky.
very lucky. I could be 6 feet under, well and
Yeah.
truly.
Or paralysed.
Another second paralysed. Another second, I could have been 3 and not touched at all. It was.
So where did it
lucky.
hit you? Which part of your
Lower
back?
back. It's yeah.
Yeah,
I was
right.
bent over. It got lower back. It actually crushed the vertebrae by 50% in height.
Far out.
L4, L5, and so they tell me that I lost a couple of inches in height.
Yeah.
When it happened,
And length if it was a second.
Well, that's what I tell.
1 second earlier.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, and I woke up and it was just. I remember hitting the ground twice and just in incredible pain, and I woke up and. Some guys are holding me, and I just couldn't feel from my waist down. I really thought I was paralysed.
Yeah.
And I could just move my toe like a centimetre, my right toe just a centimetre. And I kind of knew that I wasn't paralysed at that stage. And, I spent, 2 months in hospital just staring at the ceiling and rehabbing. And, I had 6 broken ribs, punctured lung.
Fucking hell.
Oh my God.
I thought it was just the back.
No.
Wow.
And then
So
it was
genuine, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
So it's like Nate Jarwai falling on you 50 times.
Yeah, big fella.
Big fella. Wow. So
that was really the catalyst. I couldn't play sport anymore. I tried to get back fit. I actually did swimming. I went in a couple of swimming races of long distance, and obviously swimming's great for your back. But
it's pretty boring though, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Looking at a black line, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So back then as well, what did they suggest for rehab? Swim, and was that pretty much it?
That was it. I
Fucking hell.
came out of hospital after a couple of months, and I had a steel brace. Actually, had a steel brace put on for 6 weeks, and you had to learn to walk again.
Oh my god!
Just because your muscles are deteriorated, and so it was a whole process just to get back up. And I remember, a lot of my mates who were 21 around that stage, a couple of years older than me, and I was trying to go there, and I finished up having the old banana lounge brought out there, and I'll be laying back down,
Wow.
trying to have a beer with your mates. But that was I just couldn't play at a high level. And
that's exactly.
I just couldn't do it.
Exactly the same thing that happened to me at around the same age.
Except it wasn't a hydraulic press.
Yeah, it wasn't a hydraulic press.
Yeah.
I had L5S1. My back's just. I threw a fucking javelin at uni.
There you go.
And then,
Is that how you did it?
bro? Yeah.
Little athletics or at school?
Nah, at uni.
What?
Yeah, we threw a javelin at uni.
Oh my
I felt to
God.
go, and it just popped out. And I'm 35 now. That happened when I was 20, 21, and I've still got issues. So
Yeah.
what's your lasting pain like, or is it all fixed now?
Yeah, you kind of it gets sore when you start to get a cold coming on. It gets pain in the back straight away. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always tried to get to hot weather, which is
Well, I was about to say
now I'm in Canada.
and you've left Canada to come here back in winter, and now it's
So I haven't had a summer in 2 years.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
but,
That's what Dawn said. She said she loved it over there, but it is cold.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And it's super important to keep moving as well with your back. Like always move, keep active.
Yeah.
So to hear you were in a steel brace, that's counterintuitive. But I guess yours, if it was such a big impact, you wouldn't want to give it time to recover. But man, 6 weeks being stuck.
Oh, yeah.
It's like being a ruckman playing footy.
It was better than just staring at the ceiling.
Yeah.
It was, and back then I probably had a really good surgeon, and I didn't finish up having surgery. Back then they were talking about taking the bone out and putting a cow's bone in.
Oh, my God.
Lucky you get them for free down at the abattoir. You got the premium grade.
Here's one we prepared earlier. Right.
And look, I'd seen close to 20 doctors in my time, from neurosurgeons to everything from nerve damage and what have you. And I still remember my surgeon saying, "Hey, this is not like an ankle or a knee. Yeah. You have back surgery, and I've never known one person just to have one surgery. It's always a follow-up one.
The same with that.
Follow-up one." And I said, well, let's try and fix this as best I can. And it was more so of make sure you're in good condition and looking after it and doing the right thing.
That's great advice for people listening as well. Avoid surgery at all costs. My surgeon was like, you'll be playing footy in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So being 20 and 21 and invincible, I'm like sick. 4 weeks later, I'm walking, I'm sinking piss at the pub or Sunday sessions and then all downhill from there. But that's me. More onto you. So
so what was the move? Why basketball? Was that something you were interested in at that time? And then coaching, I guess that was your only way to keep involved in sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, basketball was pretty big in my family. We were at Warrnambool, and Warrnambool used to have this great big tournament called the Warrnambool Seaside Carnival, where all the national teams had come from Melbourne, and back then there was 4 teams in the league. It was just starting up. And all the best teams from Adelaide had come over. So everyone had come down to Warrnambool for the long weekend, Australia Day long weekend. It was... you're seeing Andrew Gaze there, you're seeing all the new imports there, you're seeing, just icons of basketball. And my family played basketball, was involved. And, it was always a ball in the hand. Played football.
So you grew up in Warrnambool?
Grew up in Warrnambool, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty lucky then.
Yeah.
Basketball coming to you.
Yeah, it was, and my brothers played, they played for state, for Victoria. So it was always around the sport. And back then you couldn't get a job. This is 88 when I had the accident, having a full-time basketball coach job, that was unheard of back then.
Right.
Yeah.
It was something that I was passionate about, and to get me, involved, it helped. I started coaching kids, juniors. I coached anywhere from under 10s, under 12s, boys and girls. Yeah. And then a couple of years later, they were starting up a women's state team for Warrnambool. So I put my hand up to coach that at 1990. So I was 21 years old, started in the coaching, and and just progressed from there. It's something I love doing. And
what was the skill difference that you saw back then between women's and men's? Was it pretty similar? Because I feel like women's basketball, men's basketball, the gap's a bit closer, similar to soccer. Nothing like women's footy.
Well, I guess that maybe
just because it's so much later. Was there a bigger gap that you made massive inroads in, or was it fairly similar at the skill level at the top?
I say that the women coaching the women, they're probably more disciplined on the court than guys were. The guys want to do their individual stuff. But the women are really, the team is important, and I was very lucky to have some great players, and we went on to win the championship the first year, and that kind of fed on itself from there. It was I enjoyed the couple of years, but you also wanted to take that next step to get to the men's coaching.
Well, it's good that you're not too proud to just go, I'm coaching men only straight away. You've started with your kids and the women's league, won some, almost like proving your worth there, won some championships, then moved on. Where was your next one? Did you have to move to America then to get your next job? Is that what I read, or was there somewhere here?
So I coached the girls for 2 years, and then I went over and coached the men's team. So from the Warrnambool Mermaids to the Warrnambool Seahawks. So
Mermaids, that's a great name.
Actually, when they all started up, I've said this before. My mother came up with the name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
This was my mother was pretty involved with basketball. She's a life member at Warrnambool Association, and they'll come up with different names like Lady Seahawks. And I remember coming home one day and she said, "Why would you bloody want your team to be named after these guys? After these men?" And
Start your own.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. So I gave them their own identity, so which they have it today, which is fantastic.
Wow, that's cool.
I feel like they should be doing that with the women's footy as well. Instead of North Melbourne Roos, it should be, the North Melbourne Boomers, whatever. Give your own. And then it would help when I'm reading the AFL app and it says Star St Kilda midfielder out, and I click on it. It's not the women's foot. If it was different, it frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Right, so you got into the men's, and then you had success there?
Yeah, we lost the grand final. I made a huge coaching mistake. The whole through the year, we only lost one game.
Oh, standard.
So, and I was just a rookie, just made bad choices, and we finished up losing the grand final at home, which was a pretty big dent in the ego then, I suppose. And then I coached the next year, and we made like the semi-finals. Yeah. And then it was kind of a life change at that moment. It was 4 years been coaching, so now I'm only 23, 24. And I really, since the accident, I kind of grew up fast from 18, to 23. You kind of miss those years because it was such it wasn't a senior position, but it was still
a lot of pressure.
I couldn't get down the pub and get, have fun, and it was you have a responsibility, and kind of lost that. So I did the old Aussie thing, put the backpack on. Nice. Went for 6 months and stayed 3 years overseas.
Wow. Yeah, you put the backpack on or the hand luggage with your back?
No, the shoulders are strong,
mate. Good? Yeah, right. What was the coaching error by, just to dig up old trauma?
Yeah, well.
What was the big move that you regret?
We're up in the last quarter, and the other team got hot from the little guard started shooting three, and I took our point guard off, and I went more defensive.
Right.
And to try and stop him, but also our point guard was our best scorer.
Yeah.
So I remember at the end of the game, then I'm looking down and said, shit, he's on the bench. What the hell are you doing? And it's too late now. It's like I just got caught up in the game and a little bit of inexperience.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to touch on your style then versus your style now as well, because it'd be interesting to see your progression and change as a coach. But you've started backpacking through America looking for a job or just to go sink piss?
Just have fun.
I
brought around the world ticket. And
great.
Yeah, so I did one of those. You go to London, you get a work visa.
Yeah.
And then I was over there, came back through Africa, which was pretty rough back then.
Yeah.
And then I was in South Africa. It was the choice either to come back home, a year or almost come up. And I was like, well, I rang up some family members and they said, what are you coming home to? I said, no,
the mermaids, baby.
I said, you got a girl, you got a job? I said, no. I said, keep going.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Awesome. So I went back to London. I did Europe, went to the Middle East, went to the...
I don't want to gloss over these. Where was your favourite spot between that first year of travelling? I did the exact same thing when I was 18. I went for 3 months and I went back when I finished uni for a good 9 months. I ended up in Vancouver finishing up. But where was your favourite spot? Because as a young person that had never travelled, it must have been a massive eye-opener, especially with less internet and saturation of social media back then.
That's funny because you meet people on the backpack and you have to put a note on the notice board.
Yes.
And you come into a new city and said, Bill was here. I got to catch up. So I used to do that at London. I used to put up there, John, I'm going down to the pub for happy hour. Then all of a sudden about 10 people from the hostel are down there having a beer.
I'm John. I am John.
That's great.
Where did you stay in London? I stayed at the Generator when I was that was year 2004, I think.
Chelsea Hotel in Earls Court.
Yeah, right.
He remembers. Wow.
Good time. Backpacking's great because you meet so many like-minded people and you're all there for the same reason. Which is
I think it helps you grow as a person and it helps you
mature.
Well, just
independent.
That whole cliche of finding out who you are. And you don't want to go straight out of school into uni and into a job that you're going to be stuck in for the rest of your life.
Right.
If you have that travelling, you sort of at least learn a few things about yourself.
Yeah, and that's I keep on saying that to my wife. We've got 2 kids. said as soon as they turned 21, we give them a ticket around the world.
That's
and
awesome.
Let them go. And she said they can do it, but I'm going to go with them.
Because that's what every 21-year-old wants. Is mum coming to ministry of sound with them.
Yeah.
So where did you like the best between London and South Africa? There's got to be a couple of favourite spots.
Look, I loved Africa, South Africa.
Yeah, right.
I had some good friends down there, down in Cape Town. It was a beautiful place, and just doing a safari, seeing these animals that just are just cruising.
Yeah.
You feel so insignificant in the world when you see the animals in the wild. And I always said I could live in South America and Peru. I love Peru.
Wicked.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
It was really good.
Is that
I want to go there and do ayahuasca.
Yeah,
That's where the
ayahuasca.
stuff
But
is.
what's the is it the Inca Trail? Is that
Machu Picchu?
Machu Picchu? Did you get to do all that?
Yeah, it was funny. We trekked for 4 days, and you got your backpack and you got all the tents and all that with your porters.
Yep.
And they just straight up there.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And you're going past this 4,200. And I remember I talked to someone on the journey and said, whatever you do, get up early at dark time and get on the road and get here the first thing.
Yeah.
So I made sure I got up early, it was still dark, and started walking. And there was a couple of other mates come with me, and we just got there. And it was just perfect. The sun had come out, and just to see it was picture postcard.
Wow.
Yeah. Back then, you had to have the cameras of
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's
instant on the
almost-
Go
photo.
to Kodak and
Is it-
get it done.
Is it almost one of those? Yeah, the Kodak moments.
Yeah.
It's just one of those times where you almost, I don't want to take a photo. I'm just going to sit
Yeah,
here
and
and
that's-
experience it.
Back then, it was just to chill. That's what I tried to do at every place of going to Rome and just visualising what it was back then, the history. And
Yeah.
it was funny doing that in Inca. And then our group, 10 others, came about half an hour, 45 minutes late. By that time, the clouds had come in, and they missed the view. So it was, and I didn't know if you got the picture
Yeah.
until you go and get it developed.
Yeah.
The next day, but got it and shared it around. It was brilliant.
So who gave you the tip? Someone on the notice board? Like,
Yeah.
Trev, leave it one. Head your way up.
Yeah, no, it's just that's the best part. Because I went by myself.
Yeah.
You were forced to meet people.
Yes,
and that's
Every time I've travelled, it's been by myself.
Yeah, it's kind of scary sometimes.
Oh,
And you get
yeah.
lonely that you can't. Some great you can't share back with some of the events that you have. But it's one of the best things. It
Yeah.
forces you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that was my experience. Is not being able to share it when you get back home. People go, "How was your trip?" You're like, "Yeah, it's great."
Yeah.
And you
They're
can't be like,
wow.
"Oh, I remember when."
Yeah,
what were you gonna
I've only done it once for 2 weeks.
Right.
I went through Europe. I went for my brother's wedding. I was with him for a day, but I went from Germany.
Did your mum come with you?
No. Yeah, just went from Germany down to Budapest, all the way.
Nice.
Or actually, from Amsterdam down to Budapest, and it was great. Like on trains, but yeah, it is one of those.
Yeah.
It's great, but you're a little
You
bit.
really want to share.
Yeah, you want-
But you do meet people on the way that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
share with, but then
I had some great times, but
Yeah.
I was having such a good time. I didn't really connect. I didn't get
Right.
numbers or anything like that. It's not-
especially with no social media, you can't.
No.
even
well,
keep
you
in
had
touch
no
with them.
choice then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was put the notice on the board
Yep.
at the next hostel, and you don't even know if they're staying there. But it was
Did you jump in random trips and rides as well with people between cities?
I got some crazy ones there.
Oh yeah.
I hitchhiked in South Africa, which is probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah,
no,
right.
no, not
I
at all.
wanted to get down to Cape Town New Year's Eve, and I couldn't get a plane or a train. And mate of mine said, "Well, you can hitchhike." And so
got this cow.
He finished up giving me a police baton, a South African police baton, and said, "Put that in your backpack. If you're going to use it hard. But don't hit him in the head because you'll kill him."
Yeah, right.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So a couple of seedy moments there, but got down there at 7:00. New
Year's
Year's
Eve.
Eve.
Nice.
It was a great party, and
Awesome.
another one. I was in Guatemala.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we came down to Mexico, Guatemala,
Yeah.
and my idea was going to Rio for Carnival,
Yeah, cool.
but
Few
I didn't
Andrew Gays
realize
there.
I didn't realize you could. It's hard to travel. You travel 200 kilometers. That's a full day.
Yeah.
Not 2 hours like
No.
we're used to.
Yeah.
It's a long way. So we kind of got stuck in Guatemala, and I'm trying to get to Colombia to get down to Rio.
Yeah.
And the planes were like $500. It was like, that's way too much back then.
Yeah.
So there was a group of us, about 6 of us, went down to the airport back then and talked to the pilot in the cargo plane. So we jumped on the cargo plane that was flying from Guatemala, stopped in a
airfield in Colombia, picked up a
yeah,
package.
we did stop in the Bahamas and then finished up in Colombia.
Unbelievable.
And we're sitting there, and they tell us it was frozen fish. The cabinet was open. Yeah, the pilot came out halfway through and gave us some biscuits, like some Guatemalan Tin Tams. And we just sit there. There was no seats, no nothing. It was just sitting on the boxes. And I'm thinking, if this plane goes down, you got no one knows where you are or where you're going to be. I'll just be missing.
Yeah, but those are the experiences that are like, they're the stories.
Yeah.
They're a bit dicey at the time. You're a bit nervous. Yeah. And some
but
people.
when you're young as well, you're just like, whatever. Let's just jump on.
Roll with it.
Frozen fish, I think that's where cocaine caviar brand, the brand came from. That's awesome. So did you get to Rio?
I did, but not in time for
Not in
Rio.
time.
I only got to Colombia and it was that time. And
because Rio's quite dangerous, hey?
Yeah, it is. If you're in the wrong side of town, then I was back there a few years ago for the Olympics.
Yeah, because you're assistant coach for the Boomers that year.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to think about where I was, and I wasn't far from the beach, but I was
A little bit changed.
Little bit changed, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. So hit the travel. I like that. I love hearing people's travel journeys, and obviously before you've got status as like a NBL coach or a NBA coach.
Yeah, you're
get just around. A bloke that travelled, and everyone's got cool stories like that. Like I never would have got to that.
But you obviously ended up in the US.
No, I came back home. My best mate was getting married.
Yeah,
I flew back home. I thought after 3 years, it's probably time.
So you stayed in Africa, and then you went to the Middle East, so that pushed out to like
back
3
to
years.
London, and then back home a couple of weeks in Bali. That was it.
Yeah.
And
where? Never heard of it.
No one's there.
Yeah.
But he got married, and I thought, well, got to pull your finger out now. He's getting 27 kind of age. It's what are you doing? So I thought I'll go back to school. So I went to Queensland. My brother lives in the Gold Coast. I live with him, and I went back to do uni for a year. And then it was a really turning point. Because there was after I did 1 year, there was a job going as a state league coach of Brisbane, and I thought I'll put in. And emails are just starting to come out these days. Just around that area, late 90s or mid 90s, late 90s for me, and it was getting my resume up to date. And I remember it was like Thursday night, and I'm just, if I posted Friday, it's not going to get there when they close on Monday.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'm going to do for it. I didn't know if I was going to go for it or not, if I was going to, do something else for my career. And I thought, I'll go for it. So I jumped in the car and drove from the Gold Coast to Brisbane and hand-delivered
How
the
far
resume.
is that?
It's an hour, one way,
Yep.
so 2 hours both ways. Just to hand-deliver it, they got it.
Wow.
And then I got back, and then later on that week, I got a call and said, Trevor, we want to interview for the job. I said, oh, yeah, you beauty.
Yeah.
So went in there, had a really good interview, and Brian Curl was in there and Steve McLeod, and they were both assistant coach of the Brisbane Bullets. So that was on the Wednesday. On the Friday, they rang me back and said, Trevor, we've got some good news, bad news. You missed out on the head coaching job of the state league team. And I thought, oh, shit, what's the good news?
Yeah.
And they said, well, the Brisbane Bullets want to interview you for a development spot.
Wow.
So I went back up there the next week, and Brian Curl, Curly's an icon in Australian basketball. He's won 4 championships with St Kilda and Brisbane. And so he hired me as a development coach. Would I go out to the schools, take the players, and just do that? And it was 18,000, and I got to drive a Mitsubishi car because it was sponsored by the league.
It's better than uni.
Yeah. So I jumped in that, and that was my first taste of professional basketball.
Yeah. On your CV, I got heaps of experience with Bullets. I was in America one time, and this guy wanted a flu shot. So Brisbane Bullets are the perfect fit.
There you go. So it was, it was kind of ironic that it happened. If I didn't go and put the resume in, I mightn't have got the interview, wouldn't have got the job.
And who was in the competition at that time? You said there was only 4, but that was probably a little bit earlier. How many were in the time then?
What in
the NBL?
Was it called NBL back then?
Yeah. It started in 79.
Yeah.
So
Were the Wildcats one of the original?
82 they came in.
Okay.
Yeah, there was only 4 in Melbourne. Sorry.
Yeah.
But there was the National League was just starting to get up and running.
Okay,
and there was 4 in Melbourne, 1 in Geelong. Mm-hmm. So and that's where Cal Bruton started.
Yep.
From over there, but I think there was 12 teams when I started with the Bullets around that time.
And what most of them?
There's some weird name teams as well. I remember I did a quiz and there was some really strange names of the original NBL teams.
Yeah, well, even now, like, what's the
Jack Jumpers?
The Jack Jumpers,
I
like it. I mean, I got all the way a fairy tale first season.
Yeah.
Like
250 to 1 to 1 a few weeks out.
What?
Yeah.
You would know the odds.
They needed to win and have, I think, Wildcats lose and someone else lose for even
just to make it.
Yeah, you're right.
What was the big jump from, I guess, well, not amateur, but like state league to NBL? Was there much of a jump back then, or was it?
Yeah, it was. We were pretty good that first year. It was Leroy Loggins.
I remember him. I had his card.
I was rebounding for him, after practice every day. Another guy, Steve Woodbury, CJ Bruton was playing. We had a pretty good, pretty good team. We finished in the semi-finals. So that was just, I just wanted to get experience, you know, and rebounding and watching and seeing how it reacts. What would I do? All that goes involved with that. So yeah, it was a great experience and first foot in the door, I guess.
Yeah. So then after that, was it you went and just tried out in America with as many different summer camps that you could or something?
Yeah.
And then was that the next step?
Well, first off, we got fired in Brisbane.
That's right, the whole team. Everyone. The whole coach.
Oh, really?
Is that unprecedented?
It changed ownership. And the last year, the guy came in, Eddie Groves, that used to own ABC childcare centres.
Okay.
That built that up and then went bust. He owed millions after that. But he kind of came in and changed everything up, and we didn't make the playoffs. And there was a bit of internal stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we cleared all the coaching staff out. And I was more so a bit of furniture than the instigator of that. And I tried to get a job in Australia coaching basketball. I couldn't. It was something I loved, something I was passionate about.
Yeah.
Was that because everyone was tainted from being fired en masse, or is it
was just positions, not enough teams. I tried to get jobs with Australian basketball, and I remember talking to this one coach. He said, "Why don't you go to America and just work the summer camps?" And I said, "Oh, hell, it's not a bad idea."
Yeah.
So
I'm good at travelling.
Yeah, well, that's it. I jumped on the plane, went to LA, didn't know anybody. Finished up. There was a mate. A mate was there that I backpacked in Israel.
No way.
Yeah, so I finished up
for basketball or just living there.
Just living there.
That's
I finished
the best.
up camping on his couch for a couple of weeks.
Oh, that's great.
So good.
It was really good. That just worked the camps, and one of the camps I was working with, there was a guy called Bob Thornton. Bob was the next NBA player, and he wanted to start his coaching career, and he said there's another camp going up, so I kind of went with him to 2 or 3 different camps and worked. And over in America, they're good at telling you how good they are before they actually do stuff. And I was probably really intimidated at the start, and I can't match your stories. I haven't worked at Michael Jordan camp back then, or I haven't been to that. I worked this camp, and I just thought, okay, well, I can't match that. I'll just get in there and outwork you.
Yeah.
So I was first one on the court, ready to shoot with kids coming in, and the day I'd finished, everyone would go, and I'll be still out there, the guys that want to improve, and work them out on the court. And said, well,
that's such a player mentality.
I love that.
As a coach.
Yeah, it was just, let's get it done. And I wasn't really asking everybody for a job. It was just to see what happened. And then Bob finished up getting the job, head coaching job. And he rang me up. He said, "Trev, I got a head coaching job. Will you come and be my assistant?" I said, "Yeah, no worries."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I said, "Where the hell are you?"
The Bob job.
Yeah. He said, "I'm in Quad City." And I said, "Where the hell is that?"
I was thinking the same thing.
So it's in the middle of Illinois and Iowa, right on the border there. Obviously 4 cities into one. So, I went there to experience the professional life of the CBA.
Is Iowa the country, is that all corn and stuff, or is that Idaho, or... Iowa,
you're pretty much getting around that area.
Yeah, okay.
South Dakota, it's all dancing with the wolves area.
Yeah.
Wheat.
Yeah.
Who was the team that he got?
Quad City Thunder.
It was called Quad City Thunder.
Yeah.
Wow. Far out. I know.
And back then I didn't have a work visa yet, so it was kind of cashy job.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. It's all fixed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
okay,
So the Quad
cool.
City Thunder, and they're like, what is that, like a state league? Is that a like?
Well, that's one level below the NBA.
Okay.
So the equivalent now is the G League.
Cool.
So
Okay.
it was guys trying to get back into the NBA. Maybe they've been overseas, got cut, or maybe an injury. They're trying to get back up.
Yeah.
So everyone's trying to get to the NBA.
Yeah. So all NBL players.
yeah.
Just a little bit better.
Just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Wow. And so when you're assistant to him, right? So he oversees offense and defense. Did you have a preference of your specialty? Did he give you, all right, you're going to do offense? Did he give you defense, or did he just want your opinion on things? Because that's an aspect I don't know much about.
Yeah, it was just you pretty much do your gopher. You do everything.
Yeah.
You cover all bases, and we didn't have a big staff at that stage, so it wasn't really be specific on offense or defense and lock in. It was more what team you had.
Yeah.
So we would have Idaho team, we would have a Sioux Falls team, and so whoever's team that was your scout.
Yes.
That's more. It's
So almost like opposition research.
yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay.
And you just said, I was trying to figure out how to pronounce it because I was reading it. Sioux Falls.
Yeah, Sioux Falls.
Sioux.
Yeah.
French? Some sort of. It's
No,
like Sioux.
that may be in Canada,
Yeah.
but no, Sioux is Indians.
Ah, gotcha.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Sioux
big-
Falls.
yeah.
Sioux Falls Flames or something?
Skyforce.
Skyforce. Right. Does that have something to do with where you met your wife?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is all, I reckon, for a reason. You've driven and held a letter
There
in,
are no
which has got you that.
coincidences.
Yeah.
Then from there, you've lost your job. You had to go to America.
Yep.
But you've made a mate that you've travelled with.
Yep.
Sending frozen fish to Colombia, probably. And then you've worked your ass off, and your mate Bob has got you as an assistant, and now you meet who is still your current wife.
Yeah,
Because
there's a
of
couple
that?
more connect. Yes.
All right, cool.
There's
Let's
a
get
couple
that.
more
I love that.
connections. So the CBA folded. That's a different story. But Bob was assistant coach to Paul Woolpert, and Bob went to another head coaching job with the NBA. It was back then called the D League.
Yeah.
And then Paul was looking for an assistant, so I got a job with Paul, and Paul had the job in Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
So that's where I went to be assistant coach with Paul. He finished up coming over here to coach. I brought him over here a couple of times to coach. So, yeah, it was funny that how I met Dawn. It was a quick story that one of the games that we were up at halftime, we got beaten in overtime, and my assistant said, "Oh shit, let's go for a beer." So we went to the beer at the local dive, the Crowbar, and so we just go in there. Dawn was there waiting for a beer at the same time, so I just said ladies first, and she went and got her a drink, came back, we started talking, swapped business cards, and
Business cards.
Yeah.
back
That's
then
what he calls his
you
tongue.
didn't do the number.
Yeah.
But that was, and I, use a line. I'm the coach of the.
Of course.
And
Oh,
she
mate,
said,
you're Australian. You didn't need to do
yeah,
anything.
well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But she said, "Oh yeah, I went to the game at halftime. It was boring, so I left."
Yeah, that's good. Because
Yeah.
she didn't see. You lost that game, right?
Yeah, lost the game.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was great. We were pumping. I'm a great coach. You see
Yeah,
how far
yeah.
ahead we were?
Yeah.
Don't look it up on the on the poster board.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
results.
And I guess that was obviously a good connection because she's followed you everywhere.
Yeah, I dragged her along everywhere. It was, it was. So I finished up being the head coach there in 2004, I think 2003. Kind of a little bit of a break there because I was assistant coach at Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
And then the next year, Paul, that was the head coach, went to the Philippines. So I went for the head coaching job, didn't get it. They gave it to a guy, Stacey King, that used to play with Jordan in the Chicago Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, it's pretty hard to
To
beat.
And
It's just that's on your resume. I know Jordan.
Yeah. What's on your CV? Oh,
Nah.
a whole squad got sacked.
And then, so he got fired towards the end of the season. It was about 15 games to go, and the owner rang me up and said, "Trev, are you interested in taking over the head coaching job of Sioux Falls?" I said, "Yeah, without a question."
Yeah.
So I flew over and we had 15. They were 8-24, and at 15 games, he said, "This is your interview. If you do well, we'll talk about next year."
Yeah.
So we finished up going 7-8, which was pretty good with the same squad. And so I coached the next year, and that's when I met Dawn. 2003, 2004. We missed the playoffs by one game.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
wow.
next day I go and see the owner and said, "Trev, you didn't make the playoffs. You're fired."
what?
That's what I said. The year before you were last. I've brought you from last to one game for the playoffs. I said, "In my business, you got to make the playoffs."
What the? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
You're building something, and
Yeah. And that's just the tough life of, professional sport.
And was that the first time you'd had full control over a team at that highest?
Yeah.
That's probably the highest level it was at that point.
Yeah, and looking back now, I was probably having a hard time to recruit. I was an Aussie in America, and then they're trying to get to the NBA. The players are trying to get the NBA. So why am I going to play under an Aussie guy that's got no contacts in the NBA? So it was, it was pretty hard. So I was usually getting young kids just out of school or old vets that have been around the block, for 10 years trying to get a rebirth. So,
but I guess it was vindication that whatever you had in your head was beginning to work, whatever your game plan was or your style.
Yeah,
it was as almost like my blueprint's starting to take shape here.
Yeah, and you get that philosophy keeps on building and develops over the years. So I was probably getting more stable and great foundations.
Yeah,
yeah. So.
And so how long, where do you go from there? Like, you've just lost your job.
Yeah, it was just, again, trying to get another job. It was just being that waiting pattern, and then I finished up, there was a job in South Korea.
Yeah, I've seen this, and I was like...
With Samsung, and...
That's a place? That's a team? Or was it...
Seoul, yeah.
Samsung's sponsored by Samsung? So they call
Samsung? Over there, all the companies own the sporting teams.
Yeah, okay.
So
really?
They'll have the
So he's
baseball,
playing
soccer... Yeah, and it's big, and all, from LG, from the phone companies, from KCC.
Got the local derby, Nokia versus Samsung.
Oh, my God.
100%.
They're running the snake offensive.
Everything sports. I think Samsung back then had 22 different sports, from badminton, table tennis, to chess, to computer games, to, football, baseball, basketball. It was pretty big.
So what role did you get there? Head coach? Or?
Yeah, no, they kept a Korean coach.
Yep.
So I would come in and basically do everything as a head coach, but on game day, he would coach.
Okay, real quick there. There's so many questions on that. so many questions on that. First part is having no stability in your job. What kind of toll did that take on your mental health? And just, I would be feeling so fucking anxious. Like, I don't know where my next job's coming from. It's kind of the position I'm in now.
Yeah.
With
the anxiety of not knowing.
And winning, but I feel good. I know that it's going to come. Did you just have a knowing that you would get something? Or every time you'd lose a job, you started to panic? What was your mindset?
I wasn't really panic. It was, I think there was an inner belief in yourself that, it's keep working, you're going to get an opportunity.
Yeah. Such a good mindset.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I think, some great advice along the way that I've taken many times, because I've been fired a few times from the gig. And the coach told me one time, said, the day that you start worrying about your job is the day you're not doing your job.
That's a great piece of
advice. So that's been with me for a long time. So those stuff that you're going to get fired or something's going to happen next year is totally outside your control.
Yeah.
What I can control is getting a group of 10 guys playing team basketball, playing the right way, sharing it. And if that takes care of it, we're okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I guess now you've got a new missus, you can always crush at her, so it doesn't
yeah.
Well, I did. Yeah. I got fired from Sioux Falls. I don't know where does it live, so I finished up living with Dawn.
Yeah, like you kept the business card.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Right, so you've gone to South Korea. Language barrier. Is there one? Are they all just English player or NBA players, or who have you got in your team?
There's 2 imports, 2 Americans, and all the rest are Korean. And probably a squad of 15 or 16. But there was one thing with the Koreans. They're so literal. What you tell them. I would say to a guy, "Come down, hit him," hit. And he said, "Hit him? I can't hit him."
Yeah.
And I said, "Not hit him, just pump into him."
Yeah.
and we're playing defense, get in the wide stance and get your ass on the ground. And they're stopping there staring at us. Ass on the ground, coach.
Want me to sit? Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're very, very literal. They're a great bunch, the coach.
Yeah.
So how long did that last? Was it a tough gig or?
It was, you're meeting all the time.
Yeah.
We stayed in dorms. It was like a dorm and tap on your door at 11 o'clock at night. Coach wants to meet. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. You know?
What?
But, yeah, it was like, then you go in there for an hour, then he brings out the bottle of whiskey and wants to get on.
So the meeting is just guys for let's get
And
this.
it's like a 2-minute conversation takes you 10 minutes because you have an interpreter.
Yeah.
And the interpreter obviously takes it and then transfers it back and comes back. So there's a lot.
It's like the original Bitcoin. So what's the what's your philosophy on player relationships then? Because I guess that affects building players with your relationships without an interpreter. And I've always liked as a player in amateur sport, any kind of sport, I like knowing where I stand with the coach and being able to approach. Did that affect your like strategy or game plan, or was it more just like we're here to play basketball? Like
it's and actually before you asked about your coaching philosophy when I started, when I started, it was back then. It was the coach would say jump and you say how high.
Yep.
You know, and that you can't say jump number one.
Yeah.
Because they turn you say, well, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
You know, why? What's in it for me? And so over the years, and it probably started that way as well, the relationships weren't great.
Yeah.
It was more, I'm the coach, you're the player. This is what it is. And just being, the whole coaching philosophy has changed big time last 20 years. So now it's the feedback. You got to have those relationships. You got to have a brilliant relationship with your players and your core players to provide the trust, because you're going at a split second. A split second decision, a split second. We got to communicate here. You haven't got 5 minutes, or you got 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to trust me. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to make you better.
Yeah.
And that's, if you haven't got that relationship, you're going to struggle when the pressure comes on. It doesn't matter when you win by 20.
Yeah.
It's when the pressure situation comes, do you stay what you're doing? And if you haven't got a good relationship and built that trust up, you're going to splinter. And that's when the cream rises to the top. So my relationships with the players has got a lot more important than my philosophy.
Yeah.
In the last 5, 6, 7 years, without a question.
Yeah, because there's usually the one or the other when it comes to coaches. It's either I'm boss,
right,
you're doing what I say, or the one that works on relationships. I'm seeing it pretty commonly. I feel like Alistair Clarkson's brought that in pretty heavily through the AFL.
Yeah.
And all of his minions that are now coaching everywhere.
Yeah. I did get to experience that.
Yeah.
With Hawthorn. So
with Alistair Clarkson.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to keep going down that timeline or
we'll
come back to it.
Come back to it.
Okay.
Because that is
timeline's probably easier.
Yeah.
We often just jump around, but this
timeline
is the nicest timeline.
Yeah, it's still going well.
Yeah. It's a perfect timeline.
Yeah.
It's not like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're in South Korea.
Yeah, South Korea. And look, there was a job opening up in Townsville. So I flew in. It was towards the end of our season over there. I said, there's a head coaching job. And they said, yes. So I flew in for the interview. Thought I did pretty well at the interview, flew back. And I hadn't heard for a week. I said, I missed out. And then I got the phone call, and they said, we're going to offer you the job.
Wow.
And I said, well, what happened during the week? So, we offered
tried
it to someone else.
Yeah. They offered it to someone else.
And they turned it down.
Oh,
so,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
So they've gone and interviewed for it?
Yeah.
And going, actually, nah.
We're going with another guy, and he said he finished up turning them down, and then they offered me the job.
Okay.
So I was quite happy.
Yeah.
I've ran into him a couple of times. He always said I should have taken that job.
So how long was Samsung? Just a year?
I finished up there 2 years. I went to Samsung. The next year I went back to another team, KCC.
Okay. Did they give you an extended warranty?
Yeah,
right.
It was really good in Korea. We used to get you enjoy this every round. So you play every team. I think it was 56 games back then, and every 8 games, that's a round.
Okay.
And it depends what your record was.
Yep.
If it was 4-4, there was no bonus. But if it was 5-3, bonus if it's 6-2, 7-1.
They're from the honchos?
From the honchos. So Sunday night, you just sitting there and you get a knock on the door and and you go up there and you open the door up, no one's there. And then you look down, there's an envelope with cash in it.
That's the best knock and run of all time.
That was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jehovah's no witness. Just leaving the cash at the door.
That was great. US too. It was really nice.
Amazing.
And does that lead back to Australia after that? Is that where you come back to Cairns, was it?
Townsville.
Townsville
Crocodiles. Yeah, so...
just one real quick thing. Living in South Korea, what's the biggest difference culturally? Or were you just in that concentration camp with the dorms?
Pretty much.
You had to live together.
Just so many people.
Yeah, okay.
Living in Seoul, it was...
Soul Flames? Oh, no.
Soul Flames? Yeah. Well, they were Thunder too.
Yeah.
Samsung Thunder.
Nice.
And, just living people above each other. You don't see, that much grass. The hilltops are great fun.
Yeah.
But it's just the condensed people in so many areas. Looking back, it was great.
Yeah.
It was really good. Great experience. And
did Dawn come with you there?
yeah, she came over a couple of times.
Okay.
She was still working in the States back then, so we were still boyfriend, girlfriend at that stage. So, I dragged over for extended holidays and then go back. And it wasn't until I got the job over here that we said pack up and head over to Townsville.
Yeah, nice.
Would have helped with your offensive plays as well, getting through so much congestion. Right. We're running the Soul City offense.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
you got to
Townsville, was it the
Crocodiles?
Yeah, but was it the head coach?
Head
was
coach.
it? Yeah, wow. Okay. And I guess you've got an extensive CV now. And
I coached in America, coached in Asia, so now it was the NBL. So it was...
It's almost that sweet juxtaposition where you're in America as an Aussie and no one wants to come to your team, but now as an Aussie coming back that's been in America, you've got that, I was coaching people trying to get to the NBA.
Yeah. And what year was that?
So that was 2006 maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's good. Right. It's such a hard, because people just see you as a Perth Wildcats coach that's got, longest running 10 years, 5 championships, and you fucking miss all this awesome little backstory and the little, the
depth.
Samsung.
The depth, Delby.
Yeah,
the depth is there.
The Quad City. All this cool stuff.
Yeah.
So you get to Townsville, you're pumped, you're excited, you got a good list or a shit list? What, you make
it was
changes?
just, they finished second last the year before and made some changes and brought some, recruit. We had some young, Brad Newley was only played 1 year in the NBL and he was pretty good back then.
Yeah.
And so it was, we had a really competitive team. We overachieved. There was no way we should have finished where we did. We finished, I think we finished 6th, made the finals.
That's awesome first year.
And then got beaten. But it was really good. The guys played their hearts out. I love coaching them.
Yep.
Is it just me, or was there this sort of gap in popularity with the NBL?
Yes.
For a while?
Yes.
Because I felt like there was this Ricky Grace, James Crawford sort of era where I've loved it and I watched it all the time on TV, and then I felt like there's this little
away.
lull.
100%. And just remember that period, Ricky Vlahov, you got all, but Andrew Gaze.
Yeah.
He was retired around that area, around 2000, just after 2000.
Shane Hill was around then?
Yeah,
He was
James
around.
Crawford.
Yeah, you're looking some absolutely icon players in that 4-year period that left the game. So there was a lull, and that's probably when I started coming up coaching and probably been through that journey and for the last 15 years.
And then it feels just over the last 10 or maybe 8, 9 years, it's just really just built, and now it's become this...
we're getting more quality players come through as well from overseas.
You go to RAC and it's just packed house every night, and it's become I've gone to NBA games I've gone to Madison Square Garden and obviously
Perth Arena.
But the
compares.
The thing is they're
Madison Square,
Square, but Madison
it's iconic but old.
I mean the Houston one, Houston Rockets, and a few of them, and the feeling inside RAC Arena, obviously there's talent difference and stuff, but the feeling of entertainment and whatever the setup is there is just...
because it's closer.
Yeah, it's similar. There's a better...
It's very much South Korea vibes.
It's very It's very NBA feel at RAC Arena. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's like at the other ones. I haven't been, but it has that good feel. The music, everyone's pumped, everyone's wearing their gear.
The Wildcats do a fantastic job, and I remember many years ago when I started here, they said we want their entertainment to start when they get off the train. You know, and to the end of the game they get back on.
And that's exactly how it feels.
Exactly.
Well, if you ever heard, welcome to RAC Arena.
Cam McLaren.
That's Cam McLaren, local Perth comedian. They didn't record his voice. He had to do it live.
Why
As people
wouldn't
walk
they?
in.
They would have saved them so much money.
I think they've recorded it now. Welcome to RAC Arena. Stow your pags over here. If you have anything heavy, he'd have to say that over and over and over.
Was it Matt Storer, the other one? I
Yeah.
think Matt Storer would do it as
Yeah.
well. So Matt Storer and Cam McLaren.
yeah.
That's so funny.
So what did you find in terms of a full-time wage? Was it doable for Townsville back then? It was pretty decent compared to...
Yeah, what were you earning?
No, but I mean, like, because if I think of footy coaches, I'm like, they're
Yeah.
on massive amounts. And then you think NBL coaches, pretty safe, like, comfortable living, difficult.
Yeah, look, so back then it wasn't great because you were a rookie coach. So you're coming in probably in the bottom of the pay scale compared to a Gorgon or someone that's been around.
So just 1 mil instead of...
well, you can take the zero off it straight away.
Yeah.
So it's mind-boggling the money in America.
Yeah.
And we're nowhere near that because of TV rights. And even the basketball's got bigger.
Yeah.
It's still not comparable with the money that way. But look, it was a good living. I was young. We were just started dating.
Yep.
Before a family come around. So
Doing what you love, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't coach. I've never coached a team for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
I
course
probably
not.
did
Yeah.
go to Samsung because it was good money, but it was always a job.
Yeah.
I always thought the money would take care of itself.
Yeah.
Later on, obviously you want to
the
be
hard dance philosophy.
Yeah.
and look, I've been coaching for I don't even know how many years it is, but I can wake up and say honestly, I don't swear 5 times that I got to go to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's maybe swear once because I got to go,
Yeah.
or I jump out and ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that's always been a passion of mine, and I started this passion journey before there was even jobs.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
it was more so getting a reward than financial.
That's so good.
But it was probably the lowest of the scale at that time, and now you have to get some runs on the board to get that up.
Yeah. That's interesting because my work, I have to swear 5 times on stage. But I was a school teacher for 10 years before quitting this year, and I'd swear a lot more.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed teaching. It was awesome, great fun. I feel like it would probably be the same intrinsic reward as you get for coaching as well, something that you can impart and see people succeed. But did
Very much
Dawn?
so.
Yeah. Did Dawn get a job as well, or was she crashing on your couch this time?
Yeah, no, we got her a job in North Queensland. So she was in tourism, which was funny because she was American in tourism. In North Queensland.
If Steve Irwin's missus can do it, then
If you hear her accent, it's not subtle.
From the Midwest.
Yeah.
But, she, and that's one of the things that attracted me to Dawn. She was so a self-starter.
Yeah.
She wanted to go out and have her own name, have her own business, have her own career, and that's something that hasn't stopped at all. It's just been different spots along the way, and
cool.
She's been very versatile.
Yeah. So how did you meet her, Blanchie?
I worked for she works for a client that I work for. Well, she got me work.
She got you to work.
Got me to work.
Nice
Basically.
work.
Yeah, no, and she's been great. But speaking of Dawn, you, obviously the whole journey has led you to the Wildcats, and then you guys went through a pretty big struggle or a big issue for a couple of years there, I guess, and now the Wildcats have started throwing their support behind it. They still wear the pink jerseys and stuff. That's such it's great. So how was that whole experience, and how did Dawn find that having the support of a whole I guess a whole sports nation behind them?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Well, that's probably leads in right where you are in Townsville, because we were in Townsville and just had 2 kids.
Yep.
We had 2 under 2. Shay, my daughter, was just 6 months old, and then Dawn stopped breastfeeding as 6 months comes along, and then she felt a lump in her breast.
Yep.
And she told me about it in bed one night. I said, well, you better get in there and see, and life gets busy.
Yeah.
I got a road trip. She got 2 kids. She got work. And, you know, and we talked about again, and a week later, I said, no, I haven't. And I'm starting to get mad now. So we'll get in there, get it checked out. And she
Bum
said,
to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, you're better off just getting it checked. If it's nothing that's great, she said, oh, it's probably a little bit of a milk duct or, you know. And so she went in there the following week and had the test, biopsy. And I remember coming back, and this is kind of a bit weird, that it was just after Yassi hit Townsville and Cairns up North Queensland. The Prime Minister at that stage, Julia Gillard, was at the game.
Yeah.
And we were playing Melbourne Tigers, and Dawn didn't want to get the doctor, so it was the team doctor. And she said, I don't want to get the call from him. You can ring Trevor if there's something bad. So I'm on the way to the game, and he rings up and said, hey, listen, we're found it's cancerous.
Fucking
And
hell.
my head's just spinning, so I ring her straight away. We've got a game on. I'm on the way to the game here. What do I do? You know, obviously called Dawn. I said, you know, they can take care of it. They said, no, let's go. I want to be like normal. And, you know, there's a photo with Dawn. She got 2 kids meeting Julia Gillard after the game. And then she's just been diagnosed with breast cancer. It was an iconic moment for us, just how quick things can change in your life. So, you know, we didn't have any family in North Queensland. My family is from country Victoria. And so we talked about it. And obviously Dawn's family's in America. And so we made the choice to move to Melbourne from Townsville to be around that with 2 young kids, support the family. So
it's so interesting whenever people face adversity, the first thing they go is we need to be near family.
Yeah,
so
without a question.
Yeah.
It's so important just for that journey.
Yeah. And then you've got people that can look after the kids if you need, and all sorts of
and a drop of the hat, because it changes. It changes, you know, every 5 minutes. So so we packed up, moved down to Melbourne, and I got a job with Melbourne Tigers. For that year, they would just change their coach. It kind of worked in great timing. We were close to my family in Warrnambool. So it was really good for Dawn's having surgery and treatment in Melbourne.
What's the feeling there like for you? Because you almost, are you helpless? Your guts fall through your bum that's on the ground.
Yeah.
Are you panicking? Are you like thinking, fuck, you know, what can we do straight away? How do you deal with that and process that?
Yeah, the hardest thing is not knowing when you're going through it, not knowing how far is it. You know, and the first thing when cancer is like, well, am I going to die? You know, what stage is it in? Where is it in my body? And we were so lucky, and that's what, you know, being passionate about early detection. You know, early detection success rate is over 70%. But if you get it late, you're looking around 15%. So early detection is a must. And if anybody's here with their partner, or you know, and I often joke about this, the guys can self-examine the wife or partner's breast, not a problem. But it's better to beat the cure before it develops into, you know, the fast-spreading and later stage in life. And that's and as a man, you say, well, you can't really do anything. So my job is to put food on the table for the kids, to make sure they're financially supported. Is you know, going to be hard yards ahead. So it was more so, okay, well, I got to get this right, and then the emotional side of it, and then you got 2 kids that don't understand, you know, what's going on. And at that stage, we didn't tell the kids because they were too young to understand. So we're in Melbourne for just on 12 months, actually.
So I guess there's a whole nother level though, because you're in such a high pressure environment now. Did you need to seek outside help to process what you're going through, or did you find that solace within Dawn herself or within family members? Because having the pressure of being a high performance coach, having to deliver wins and being in a winning, like a job where you need to win, and
it's a performance-based industry.
Performance-based, but you're also trying to process this massive life event. Did you have a sounding board, or was there a team psych, or what was the...
Well, all the above, but it was, my friends. I have a good friend back in Warrnambool. His wife went through it, and he reached out straight away, which, you know, I've done exactly what he's done to people that I know, and it was, hey, listen, I'm here if you want to talk, you got any questions. And it's more, as men, we probably get bottled it up a little bit more. So it was good just to have that and have an outlet of talking whenever you wanted to. And it wasn't a great, you know, in-depth stuff, but it was there. Great to know it was, hey, listen, I can ring up and you'll pick the phone up and walk us through that. And his wife had breast cancer, so the wife helped Dawn through it as well.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
lucky.
It's just
Unlucky
helping
but
up those
lucky
steps. Correct.
in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, because you need that support around because there's such unknown or going through this journey or, what's going to happen. And it's been very, very supportive. And that's one of the things, the bright side of is just the relationships that we've had to help us along the way.
Yeah. And I guess she's your first love almost, first relationship as well.
Yeah, without a question. I've only been married once, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm a marriage celebrant, so if you want to renew your vows, we can do that at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about what it would have felt like as someone you've travelled, everyone else was settling down, you've met the one, and then you face this as well. That's like
it's not
massive
ideal,
spanner.
especially two kids under 2. So that was really hard. But and there was some dark periods through it. It was it's a hard journey without question. But then when you get back and look back, it's okay.
Yeah. So your biggest
in
advice-
hindsight, those sorts of journeys are always the hardest moments are the ones you sort of reflect back on and realise that's what's built me as a person.
Right, correct, 100%.
So people listening, fellas, we got 83% male
Go
listeners.
examine.
Go examine with consent.
With consent, consensual examination.
And say, look, Toronto's
surprisingly,
Raptors assistant coach.
surprisingly, we have
Perth Wildcats
a lot of
championship
female
coach.
listeners now.
Yeah, and
So
we are building. And girls,
yeah,
check it out and don't be fucking stubborn.
And that's the thing. Don't be stubborn because
Yeah.
it's like don't wash it. You're better early detection cured Dawn.
Yeah.
it was the best cure that she could have was getting there early.
Yeah, it's so funny that the early detection and the stubbornness that people face.
Yeah.
Even some really close girl mates of mine, with as much awareness as there is now, so much awareness for breast cancer, they'll still go, I'll go get checked.
Yeah.
Like next week or something.
Yeah.
Fucking book in today.
Yeah.
Get it sorted.
Yep.
yeah.
Same as your blokes
Is
with
it-
your nuts.
Do you think it's the fear of the
Probably.
of the result?
I think it is. It's
Yeah.
a fear. Don't want to change your life. You don't want to get it.
Yep.
But it's the fear is much easier to deal with then
Yeah.
than it is. It's hey, listen, this is spread through your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't got it soon enough because then you're pushing daisies up.
So
Yeah.
was it you that started pushing the drive? I know that with the Wildcats wearing the pink jerseys. Was that Dawn or was that just?
How did you
was
get the
that-
job at the Wildcats?
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
Well, it went to Melbourne, so just I finished up getting fired in Melbourne.
Yeah, okay.
What, new owner again?
Yeah.
Legit?
Well, I've been fired 3 times, and 3 times not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay.
So once in Brisbane, once over in the CBA in America,
Yeah.
and the only time in the NBL, the ownership changed.
Yeah.
And so that got a bit ugly, and it wasn't a good time because Dawn was going through treatment, 2 kids, and then that's when how am I going to get a paycheck?
Yeah.
I'm going to fire. So that's why I finished up going to AFL.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Well, is it frustrating as well? Some person comes in that knows fuck all about basketball that wants to change everything. They've just got money, right? Is that what the owners have, or do they have an interest in basketball?
They just want to bring the people in that they're comfortable with, I guess.
Right.
And if you have the coach there that maybe you don't like,
Yeah.
and you want to get someone else, it's their job.
Yeah.
I just got to make sure my contract's really good.
Yeah.
So to give you that protection
Yeah.
on the downside,
Yeah.
because when it does go south, you have
Yeah.
to have that piece of paper to hold it.
Yeah.
So
you go to the Kangaroos and Hawthorn?
well, at Melbourne Tigers, we're working with North Melbourne, same facility. So
What year was this? I'm just seeing if they were successful or not.
Yeah,
This is the prelim years where they made
this
finals
is,
under Brad
10,
Scott?
11.
they
And
were
Brad
good.
Scott, let
Yeah.
me tell you, Brad Scott's a great coach.
Yeah.
I was shocked that he's not coaching. He's gone down more administrative side, but I've witnessed him. I think he's a brilliant coach. Absolutely great communicator. Had the guys eating out of his hand.
Yeah.
So we had some success there. So I cleared out my office. I got fired, grabbed all my stuff out of the office, and I'm heading downstairs. And then walking upstairs is Brad Scott. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just got fired." He said, "Oh, you've got to be kidding me." No, I said, "Mate, they just rang up. They're cleaning up the office. I'm out here. We used to, run into each other, but nothing major." And then, so I went back out, and I had to come back for contract reasons, and then we had a bit of a laugh. But by the time I left, I was getting to know more the North Melbourne guys because
Yeah.
there was no basketball to do, but I had to be in the office.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
just watching.
so spun out. So
Yeah.
So you got
Just-
nothing to do.
Yeah.
But you have a great contract.
And if I wasn't at the office, I would be
Not getting paid.
not getting paid. It'd be
Amazing.
rules to fire.
Right.
So, and that's was just building up the relationships. And then I went and North Melbourne rang me up and said, hey, listen, would you like to come in here and be a fly on the wall and come into our meetings and see what areas that we can improve on? I said,
Fantastic.
not a problem. So I went in there, and the first thing I did was the ball skills. Back then, it was just a handball. There wasn't no decision makings. And so I came up with a set of drills that we use in basketball for AFL.
Yeah.
And it was peer pressure, it was time pressure, it was decision making. And the guys loved it, absolutely loved it. We get in there and be dynamic. And so I got to be in the box with Brad and travelled a bit with North Melbourne in the game. We won, I think, 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah,
went to the finals, and
Yeah, that was the years where they were making prelims. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomer was just turning back the
yeah,
clock.
Yeah,
Boomer
yeah.
was there. Yeah,
My
without a question.
guy I played states with was Andrew Swallow. He was a captain.
Yeah.
In
Well,
good
he was
form.
there. Yeah.
So is that a weird transition? You've gone from NBL head coach to in the box and an AFL
Yeah.
team.
And it was great for me because I could sit back and no pressure
Yep.
and just to look at different things. So it was really good. And then so the next year I tried to get some money to go, and they said no, we haven't got the money to
Just
hire.
email Samsung.
Yeah.
And they'll knock on your door.
Yeah, I like that one. And then so then I thought, I'll come up with a program and see if there's any AFL teams. And I met Chris Fagan many years ago when I was in Townsville, and he was at Hawthorn.
Yeah.
He said, well, come down. We had a coffee.
We've got money at Hawthorn.
We're a very happy team at Hawthorn.
North Melbourne are not notoriously known
Yeah.
for money.
So that was 2013, so just before they started their success.
Yeah.
So the reason.
So the reason is, you heard it
the
here
difference.
first. Peer pressure skills.
Yep.
Well, so I
Really?
came in with a couple of, if you like it, keep it. If not, no worries, no
Yeah.
skin off your nose. And they said, well, yeah, we like it, and then kept it for 10 sessions, and then it was all of a sudden 2 times a week for the season.
Awesome.
And that was great for me with Hawthorn, because Clarko was there,
Yep.
Simo was there, Beveridge. There was about 4 or 5.
Just a few
A
AFL
few
coaches.
premiership winning
Yes.
coaches.
Yeah, all there. So I'm sitting back and watching these guys communicate how they're working. But the biggest thing for me was the players, how much more so, when we're talking about coaching philosophy before, it was more so you're the coach, it's my way or the highway. And Hawthorn would be the players that hold you accountable. And I remember doing a drill, and I didn't really know all the players' names. So, and, I had, I think, about 16 in a group, maybe 10 in a group and 10 in a group. And there was a couple of players on the outside just kind of messing around. And I'm just about to, hey, guys, come back in. Then all of a sudden, Gibson has got in, hey, guys, get your ass back in here now. Oh, that's pretty good. And then Sam Mitchell would do the same thing, or Jordan Roughhead, or Jordan Lewis.
Yeah.
And that I was thinking, well, they really policing themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Clarko would kind of sit back and let the assistants coach, and he would oversee it, and then he would build a relationship. Bring someone into his office, have a 20-minute conversation, then someone else would come in while the coaches are doing. And it was really stuck with me is the input with the players and how they held each other accountable.
Yeah.
More so than the coach, you do this. And so I stole a lot of their ideas when I went to coach Perth.
I feel like there might be almost a fraction there between AFL and basketball.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
basketball might be a lot more ego and players are playing for themselves, as opposed to footy, where since we're young, as a leader at any development squad or any waffle team, you will pull your teammates in and you're expected to do that. So maybe that's just like that culture thing from a sporting point of view. But it doesn't fucking hurt when you've got Gibson and Lewis and Sam Mitchell helping you out.
And, it was really eye-opener for me, the players taking ownership. So that was, I have no qualms about, they had the sustained success of doing that with the the culture that Clarko had at that stage.
And was it evident to you that Sam Mitchell would go on to be a great coach at that point, or was it just...
Yeah, he's very, very smart,
Yeah.
you know. And I used to run in with him a bit all the time because he...
He'd have his own
With the
opinion?
drill,
Yeah.
he would. And I said, mate, there's a beach towel over there, use it. I probably ran it a couple of times. He might mellow now that he's a coach, he kind of gets it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a great time just to learn about communications and sport and professional sport, even though it wasn't basketball.
Yeah.
And to sit back and watch all these coaches communicate, and I was allowed to, in the meetings, and listen to them, and I said, "Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. That I'm gonna take that." And when I get my next opportunity, I didn't know when it was going to be.
So
Clarkson's,
Clarkson's group of coaches that have gone on to success is not just in the AFL. It's bled into the NBL.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. So did you get to see any grand finals from the box?
No, I actually left in July. The Perth Wildcats job opened up. So but you know, I would still ring him up. I ring Chris Fagan up a few times and say, I got this problem. What do you think? I think that as a coach, to have some different avenues for different people. You know, I know Craig Bellamy from the time I was in Townsville, in Brisbane actually, because he was assistant coach
He's
at
NRL,
Wayne
Craig
Bennett.
Bellamy? Yeah.
So I kind of just held those relationships that you can ring up and
I think that's great that you found a transferable set of skills between ball codes as well, because that was my next question was like, you see Clarko go to America, all these guys, and I'm thinking, what are you going to learn from ice hockey? Or what are you going to learn from being in that environment? But straight away, you've just...
Yeah, you try to
opened up
relate it back to your sport. And I think the ice hockey, that's where Mick Malthouse got the subs off.
Yeah.
'Cause in ice hockey, they go 30 seconds and they're subbing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's when the interchanges are up 140 or 120 or something.
So we can blame Mick Malthouse for ruining the game. What did you make of Luke Beveridge? I've heard many different things from players that have played under him to people that know him. Like, how did you find him? I heard he's a bit of a different cat.
He was very much a student.
Yeah.
He actually swapped a fair few books. And I got one of his books and there was notes everywhere in it. It was great.
Wow. It was a dot to dot.
Oh, it had the tags in there.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And that's when he was an assistant coach before he went to the Bulldogs.
Nice.
But yeah, and then you had Simo was there and Bolton. Chris Fagan and Clarko. It was like a smorgasbord.
Yeah,
and they worked so good together.
Fagan could soon be a premiership coach.
Yeah, that's what that could be. Yeah.
So probably your most notable job of notoriety. Notable.
Yep.
Yeah. Is the Wildcats and the record-setting run that you put in there. So obviously you've inherited at that point still one of the most successful franchises.
Yeah.
And how do they do? Is that franchise in sport and they just judge it by how many finals you've made? Because I'm thinking like English Premier League and Scottish Premier League have been around for many years.
It was the 35-year run, of making
I think it was
playoff
concurrent,
finals.
in a row. Yeah.
So
the longest streak on earth. I think
and
it was,
did you inherit it as they'd had that streak?
Yeah, it was 27.
So the pressure is immediate.
Yeah, without a question.
You're definitely getting fired if you don't make playoffs.
I never thought about that. We have made finals 27 years straight.
Yeah.
You better fucking do it.
And the year before, they made it to the final and lost the final.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was fair bit of pressure the first year. So, you know, it was just kind of dismantle in your mind and build up in your mind where they can improve. And I was really lucky, some contacts that I had previously in America. And also, I missed that part, I worked as a player scout for Portland Trailblazers in the main league. So I kind of knew all the players around and built contacts. And so there was a player that I got a call from a mentor of mine, Mo McCone. He coached the USA men's team before Coach K. He rang up and said, hey, Miami Heat want to put this player away. They want to keep him, but they want to place him somewhere and bring him back next year.
Like hide him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hide him. And
what better place than the most isolated city on earth with the most
100%.
successful franchise?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I said, no.
Yeah.
What's his name? What's he do? I watched some tape and I thought, this is going to help. And so that was James Innes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
wow. Yeah.
And the other guy that I coached against was Jermaine Beal.
Yeah.
And Jermaine lit us up one time when I coached against him, so I remember about him. So we finished up getting those 2 of the imports. And, the pressure came off a little bit. I think we won our first 12 games.
Yeah, from that handball drill that you're doing.
There you
From
go.
Nice. So straight away, pressure's off.
Yeah, and then
Nice.
it just comes again in the finals. And, we were fortunate. We finished first. We were the best team in there. So if we had a loss there, it would have been, without a question, on me.
Yeah.
Because we were the most gifted team there, and it was just the guys played great. We finished up beating 36ers in the game 3 of the final.
Yeah.
Was that that's the first time you've won a championship at such a high level?
Yeah.
So how does that feel for you as a coach? You're I'm vindicated.
Yeah. Well, you always got that background because, as you mentioned before, I didn't have a history in sport. I didn't play at a high level, so I haven't got any credibility at all. It's like, well, who's this Gleeson guy?
Yeah.
You know, he's a bit of a flog or whatever. And that's why I don't have social media. I don't want to. I know it's there. I don't really care about it. I want to listen to people that I respect, and I get feedback.
Yeah.
They say, Trevor, you did a shitty job. Yeah, okay, but I want to have it from someone that's reputable.
Yeah. Mate, don't go through comments.
Don't go through the comments.
No, not at all. So that was kind of to keep you focused on what you're doing and don't worry about things outside of your control. And and we had that success through the first year. It was great.
That's awesome. That's so cool as well. You've almost reached this mountain. Now the challenge is to stay at the top.
Yeah.
How do you go about? Do you change your game plan? Do you make tweaks? Are you like, nah, this is the winning formula that I've got?
And how do you sell Perth to imports? Like, really? It's not not the most sellable city in the world. It is beautiful weather.
Well,
beautiful.
we finished up doing a recruiting video. A 3-minute recruiting video. And
I would have gone down the coast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And shown
100%.
all the chicks at 3:30 and just been like.
But yeah, the beaches, the weather, the arena, the crowd.
Yeah. All that, the history, the winning championships, everything if you want to be successful. And now that we had probably a bit of credibility because we had James Innes won a championship. Now James has gone back to play for Miami.
Yes.
So now we've also developed. Now we're a development team. You want to come here and develop. You want to get to the NBA.
Seems to be.
This is a Perth. This is an opportunity for you to do that.
That's amazing. And was that your brainchild?
Well, it was kind of worked that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I didn't sit back and say, "Oh, I want this to be a building block for NBA." It was an opportunity that they wanted to plant a player.
Yep.
We'll take him.
Yeah.
We'll help you a little bit. We're not going to. You already got the skills.
Yeah.
We just got to get you in the right environment.
Yeah.
Playing.
How hard was it getting the American egos to drop and play
They're
team?
pretty good. I always have a hard conversation with them first up.
Yeah.
We'll go for lunch or coffee or a milkshake or whatever they want to do. I said, I'm going to coach. Who's your best coach that you've had? And I said, well, why was he the best coach?
Oh, that's great.
Who was your worst coach? Well, why were they the worst? Now, okay, so you're telling me you want me to get hard on you. Yeah, I do. Right. Yeah. And then when the shit hits the fan through the season, we might have it. Hey, we had this conversation pre-season.
Yeah.
You told me you want to do this. So are you changing in your mind or
accountability?
And then it's okay. You're right. Okay. Well, this is where I see it. But,
okay. I'm going to jump forward just because it's reminded me. Otherwise, I'll leave it.
Yeah.
It could be fake news or not. And you've spoke about the Americans being good with the ego. Did Bryce Cotton throw his medal away?
No, that was James Innes.
James Innes.
Oh,
Did
really?
he throw his medal away?
Yeah. He should have won MVP without a question.
Right.
And we came out of there for the MVP. He was in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And he's just got his best 5 and just gone.
Really?
Like that. And just outside having a smoke was the Adelaide owner. So he's saying we tried to keep that in-house.
And it got out.
Yeah, and he's saying it got to the media, and then it was by the time we jumped on the plane to get back here the next day, it's, oh, you threw your medal in. It's, no, I posted it. Where is it? Sent home to mum.
Yeah, it's airmail.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then I guess were you instrumental in getting Bryce Cotton on board? Was he?
There's a few more before that, right? Before Bryce
Casey
came
Prather.
along. Prather.
Yeah. So
even Nate Jarwai was...
Nate was our
was a
second
monster.
championship.
It's
great.
becoming an NBA feeder comp, really. Like was it Lonzo Ball?
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball. Like for
Melo.
Melo Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Melo.
No, his brother. Played.
He's
with,
doing big things.
Who did his
He
brother
played
play
for
for?
Wollongong.
Wollongong.
Illawarra Hawks. Yeah.
Yep.
But which one? I mean, we kind of have to zoom through.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Which was your favourite one and why?
Championship?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were saying imports.
No.
I guess the first one's always,
Yeah.
something you had never achieved before. And it was such a build-up of all the way through. But the others, are so important too because it's the journey that year. And I guess the coaching philosophy, the year that we won it, the next year I wasn't a good coach because I used to judge, we were better last year.
Yeah.
I had to let that go because last year's already over and the team's thinking, well, this is not last year's team. This is this year's team. So I really made a decision there in coaching, said don't always compare to last year. It's something we want to keep striving to win this year, not compare to last year.
That's a great. I think that's great.
Yeah, there's been a couple of crazy ones.
Eagles aren't doing that at the moment.
Yeah.
There's been we were last at the Christmas, and then we brought Bryce in. We finished up winning a championship that year.
Yep.
There was one that was
He's
the
been
toughest.
an average import.
Yeah. There was the toughest schedule I've ever seen. Was we bet New Zealand and had to fly back and forth for that journey was tough. And then you got the last championship was COVID.
Yeah.
Against the Sydney Kings.
How silly now thinking they didn't want to continue because of health and safety.
Like
after what we've been through now.
It's all hindsight,
like,
I guess, isn't it?
mate.
And you just
But the New Zealand Breakers and Wildcats have had great rivalries and great games to bet on. Few good values on those ones. I guess from the Wildcats, I think we have to gloss over because we've gone about an hour and a half.
yeah.
Now, so
Well, I will. I heard, and this is a rumor, so you can confirm or deny. So just prior to the Olympics, I heard you're coaching in Wildcats, and Canada's head coach for the Olympics comes into town for the game, and you've gone for a coffee to ask for some advice. This is what I'm hearing, so you confirm or not deny. And you've gone to ask for advice.
Throw your medal into the Swan River,
and basically, instead of giving you advice, offered you a job.
It wasn't easy that, but Coach Nurse already won a championship, don't you? Won a championship with Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
And he just happened to be here the next year coaching Canada.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of mutual friends. So I got his number and said, hey, listen, while you're here, I'd love to catch up with you and have a beer. And he said, I can catch up, but he doesn't drink beer. So So let's go down. So I took him down to City Beach. We had a meal, talked, and up and down the coast, and just built a relationship from there. And I actually thought I was going over there the COVID, not last year, the year 20. I thought I was going to head over there because his assistant coach went to take a head coaching job.
Yeah.
So we talked about it, and COVID hit their team really hard. They had the lockdown in Florida.
Yeah.
So he said, nah, not happening, and just happened last year.
So because you've eventually gone over there with the job. What's your role with them? Is it defensive? Are you sort of watching the other team's defence?
Yeah, so I'm doing the offense, our offense.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got to find the holes of where we can score or take advantage
How
of.
you can get through Marcus Smart and
Yeah.
and this is ridiculous to think that you've gone from getting your back crushed in a bloody abattoir in Wollongong or Warrnambool. And now you're sort of analysing LeBron James, Durant, and how to get through some of the best defensive players in the comp.
Trying to beat Giannis and Embiid. It's crazy. I'm still a fan. I'm sitting. I'm probably the fan till the game starts.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like this is KD.
Yeah,
you know, how the hell are you going to stop KD? And,
you're almost like I don't care. I just want to watch him.
I want to get his autograph, so I'll just let him score.
Yeah, it must become you must have to pinch yourself, like where you've gotten to, and obviously future aspirations, I'm sure. But getting to that point, and then looking at some of the players. Oh, I guess you missed out on Kawhi Leonard and the
right.
But you've still got some great players that are playing.
Was it a
at
dream?
Toronto.
NBA was the dream.
Yeah, I guess as a little kid, it was all, back then. It was the Olympics.
Yeah,
because it wasn't really professional enough. But Australia still went to the Olympics.
Yeah,
so it was. I guess that was the biggest goal then. But as it's developed, and then you've coached against, especially when I coached over America, there was, I think, 4 coaches from other teams I coached against finished up being a head coach in the NBA. I was I'm not far away. It's just been not in the right spot. And you know, and we've had some great years here in Perth, and now it was an opportunity came.
How old are the kids now?
The kids are 13 and 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's still a little bit of like you're
Yeah.
thinking about them as well.
Yeah, without a question,
Yeah.
and especially all the news that goes on going to school.
Oh,
the
yeah.
safety aspect is the
Yeah.
best place to raise in Australia. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's something there. But it was, and I often talk about this with my wife: is can you put your head on the pillow at night and say you passed up an opportunity to coach in the best league in the world?
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't. I said no, I can't.
Yeah.
I said I would be restless. I'll be grumpy.
Yeah.
I'll be second guessing myself.
Yeah.
This way, I can give it a crack.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. Great. If it's not, well,
That's so cool.
I can do something else
Yeah.
from basketball or football or whatever.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll always be coaching like forever in some sort of vicinity, if it's basketball, footy, lacrosse, like something? Or is there another passion outside of that?
I,
that one
actually,
day?
in between the Melbourne gigs, I did some corporate the talking, like teamworks.
Yeah. If you need an opener, I
Yeah.
do a lot of corporate comedy.
Yeah,
Can I open
it's,
for you?
it's something that I've really started probably doing some more corporate
Yeah.
talks to executive CEOs, and just to get their communication of how they're
Yeah.
how one part of the business, that's maybe something I go down. So I still enjoy teaching
Yeah.
and to pass that experience on in a different
Because a big company
business.
is like a big team. You've got your different teams.
Yeah,
and-
well, then you find the research doesn't talk to advertising.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't like each other. Well, how are you going to be comparable of sharing the ball?
Yeah, it's like maths teachers and sports teachers.
Yeah.
These days, all maths teachers are sports teachers because there's no jobs.
So there's a big it's a big week now. We've got the NBA Finals. Miami lost. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't believe Butler went for a 3-pointer. He went for the glory to win. He should have gone for a layup and forced overtime. But anyway, Game 7 finished. Boston versus Golden State. Now having a bit more of a better idea of what's going on there. What's your thoughts on who's going to win and what do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Then we'll
guess I
maybe
have to
finish
take
with some
the
listener questions.
Yeah.
I have to
yeah.
take the East Coast team, which is Boston. We played them early in the season. We actually had their number. I think we had about 3 wins out of them early. But they really developed after Christmas.
Yeah.
They really got better. And then I think we only played them once since then. So
I heard they studied the Wildcats tapes.
I might have-
After Christmas.
it's
push
really
through.
going to be a good one with Steph. You know, we played against him once, and we held him actually to 5 points, which was,
Oh, wow.
which
Yeah.
was great. So, but they didn't have Clay, and
Yeah.
If any recruiters are listening, when he says we held him to 5, that was his research.
Yeah.
Held Steph to 5.
How do you approach someone like who's considered now the arguments are top 10 of all time
He can't
players?
give away strategy.
Yeah, but
Well, there was because Toronto had played Golden State in the final, so the players.
yeah,
I think there's still 5-6 players that are on the team
Yep.
that haven't changed. So they kind of knew that it's a big game,
Yeah.
but we didn't win the game. So
Yeah.
that they Warriors won. But look, this is going to be a cracker. You got an offensive team against a defensive team.
Yep.
You got a couple of villains in Draymond and Marcus Smart.
Yep.
You know, it's. I thought Miami might get there. I think their health really stopped them. But hopefully it's a great game, great series.
I'm sorry to bring up old traumas. You would have been right on the front of it. Seeing Embiid Game 6 drain that 3.
Yeah, no, that was game 3.
Game 3 was it?
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
we got
and-
him to game 6.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, got him. To
Yeah, it was.
'Cause
It's one of those little things. Just little things go against you.
yeah,
You know, there was one, and then there was one that he banked off. He's the most dominant player. You know, LeBron, Giannis, KD, Steph. But for me, it was Embiid. He's just physicality and strength. It was just you felt like a little kid out there.
How can you be like 7 foot tall and that athletic?
Yeah.
It's just
And he's smart. He's smart as you know. He's got a high IQ. He's. I thought he'd win the MVP, but
yeah,
again, I didn't see enough for the West Coast teams.
And beast.
Yeah.
Got a listener one. I heard a conspiracy theory that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's love child. Have you heard? Have you heard that? It's
he's
very
pretty-
compelling.
Okay.
Pretty damn good though.
It's very compelling.
I actually heard a rumor this morning. Anunoby is
OG, yeah.
yeah. Is there chances he's going to get traded?
Look, I don't know. I think everything's on the table in the NBA level.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it's coming around this time for draft.
Yeah.
Draft times at the end of this month. So there's a lot of speculation
Yeah.
to this, but no, I'm not really know the ins and outs of the.
But seeing these guys up close and you get to experience it in playoffs, which is the ultimate. I mean, obviously you want to go all the way to the championship,
Right.
but NBA playoffs, it must be such a vibe watching these guys.
So
And then Philly, it's definitely Philly.
So
Philly
cool.
are crude. The crowd,
Yeah,
they're vocal and they're loud and they're nasty and
trust the process. So speaking of your coaching, this is from a lifelong diehard Wildcats supporter, Aldo Rogantini. While you've been coaching in the NBA, what was the main difference in game style compared to the NBL? Seems like more ISO ball. Also, have the Raptors been using any of your coaching style? Running the flex offense, for example, which was used a lot with the Cats.
Yeah, no, they haven't been. I'm still pushing for it.
If they were, they'd be playing in the finals, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's principles just sharing the ball. But just the athlete, they're so big. They're bigger and they're stronger. You know, it's just the skill level of the NBA players is much higher than NBL.
Yeah.
Without a question. And just there's that many of them, it doesn't show out as enough.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a different level. The how big they are, the court's bigger, how quick they are.
It's like literally this. Your description is reminding me of if the NBL went there, it would be like Space Jam when the Looney Tunes
correct.
play the giant monsters.
Yeah, correct, 100%.
Yeah, wow.
If you were to coach, ever to come back and coach in the NBL, what's the major thing you learnt in the NBA that you would implement here?
Oh yeah, good question. I'm still developing that, but a lot of Nick Nurse is a really good coach. You know, just with how he handles the players and holds them accountable and gives them a little bit of reign. So that's really stuck with me more so than the philosophy of offense and defense.
Okay. And other than ruining the company, how do you feel about? Sorry, other than ruining the country, how do you feel about ScoMo ruining the Wildcats?
I didn't. I'm taking the.
We're changing.
Yeah.
No, I just added that one in there.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see any games this year. We're just too busy with scouting and moving on to the game. So
Great change of
it was
deflection.
It was. I have no doubt that they'll be back up there next year.
And Liz Cambridge, do you have any opinions on what's happened there?
Yeah, it's not pretty, is it?
Nah.
It's when you got multiple players saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, but there was an ugly breakup. That's still something left in the tank there because it's not all finished. There's a lot of energy coming from that, but it's pretty hard to make a comment when you're not there. I think leave it up to the people who were there.
Especially since what she quit for, and then she's accused of the exact same thing, saying to the Nigerians, go back to the third world country where you came from. We all know Nigeria's not third world.
And this is...
I get emails from princes saying I've got millions of dollars from them. So let's get your facts straight before you can
I think I got an email like that this morning.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing as well. Like, this is why I don't like to cast judgment when I don't know, like what you just said with Liz. Like, the Ben Simmons situation he's starting to cop it a lot, obviously. And I always sort of have this thought that if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, don't comment.
Yeah.
It does seem like he's being a bit of a spoiled brat. That's how it feels. But there could be something going on that we don't know. Something that because he was treated pretty poorly. I know that, but those sorts of things I don't like to have comments on and thoughts on them without knowing.
Yeah, exactly. It's it was an ugly situation in Philly how it finished last year for the playoffs, and then the kind of standoff. And it wasn't. I probably think both teams, both parties would, if they did it again, they do it different. It was unfortunate you didn't get to play with the Nets. It would have been really good to see, but hopefully he's back healthy. I know he had back issues towards the end, so hopefully he's back and hopefully he puts the green and gold on.
I was going to say,
gold.
And is that something that's your an aspiration as well? Been, I guess, almost overlooked as the best coach in Australia at the time.
Yeah, look, I interviewed for it. I was pretty happy with the interview. I thought I did well, but obviously didn't get the job. So I know it was a quick decision because of we had to move fast for the Olympics and all that. So look, if it comes up in future years and I'm still interested in the coaching, I'll certainly put my hand up.
It's definitely a side that's going to be very competitive over the next couple of Olympics, you'd expect, with the team we have. But
Should we ask the weed question or just
Oh,
finish
yeah.
up?
Well, no.
We got one from the listeners.
I can't find it, but
Saying 50 to 75% of
Yeah.
NBA players.
use marijuana.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
there any team rules, or if it's legal, it's allowed to happen?
Because it's legal over there. Is it just
Yeah.
considered like having a
Look,
drink?
You can go, even in Canada, and look, I don't know who smokes, who doesn't.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
That's not something that I get into, but you can go and buy, walking down the street
Yeah.
in Toronto. There's cannabis stores that all over the place.
It's just like going to a liquor store, hey?
It's just exactly right. You can smell it. I remember
Yeah.
when my family were over there, they said, God damn, Taj. It's, I don't believe they test. I don't know why they do it, but,
I think so. I'm sure some of them would tell you that. Oh, I'm using it for the pain. But yeah.
I've got this is the Jimmy Butler one. I'll look how good. Like that's pretty. That's pretty compelling.
MJ.
Is that not pretty compelling?
Do we not know who Jimmy Butler's dad is, or?
Well, no. He was with his mum for 13 years.
Yeah.
And then his mum gave him up. And there was apparently Michael Jordan had a love child that he supported for 13 years. And as the payments stopped, she gave Jimmy Butler up. So
Interesting.
all the timelines.
We should deep dive into that one as a conspiracy. That's good. All right.
So,
but,
yeah, I thought that would be a cool little thing to finish on.
yeah, sick.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. This has been very enjoyable for me
Yeah.
because I've learned different aspects of coaching philosophy and travel stories, which
There
I
you
love.
go.
So it's great. And backstories.
100%. Thanks so much for coming
so
on.
much.
Thanks, Dawn, for setting this up.
Thanks, Dawn.
And I don't know how long you're in Perth for, but it's great to have
Do
you
we
back.
want to plug any of Dawn's tourism companies or
she,
anything?
No, she definitely not.
Don't?
No, just leave that. So.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. And you can
Cheers.
find Trev on social media at the real Trevor Gleeson.
At we the North.
MySpace.com.
That's not a bad one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
that.
All right, cheers.
Awesome. Cheers.
All right, thanks,
Cheers.
guys.